Hello Bookish friends, welcome to my May wrap-up part 1. In this video, I will talk about the works that I finished in the first half of May. And like I did in my previous wrap-ups, I will insert the clips that I recorded very soon after I finish those works. Today is the 2nd of May and I finished the first book of the month. This was also the book that I chose for my TBR game, Roll the Dice, Animal Farm by George Orwell. This book has been on my TBR for a long time and actually it was the most rated book on my TBR. And this book, written in 1945, is considered one of the most known modern classics. The book tells the story of a group of farm animals who rebel against their human farmer, hoping to create a society where the animals can be equal, free, and happy. Ultimately, the rebellion is betrayed, and under the dictatorship of a pig named Napoleon, the farm actually changes for the worse as the years pass by. According to George Orwell, this book is a satire about the Soviet Revolution, which happened in 1970. When I was reading this book, I saw some very specific details about especially the beginning of revolution in the animal farm with the Soviet Revolution. However, the second half of the book really can be applied to any form of dictatorship and autocracy. And although this book is considered a science fiction, I think it is very realistic, aside from using animals instead of people and politicians. I like the structure of the book very much. I thought it was a quite thought-provoking book, and it was easy to see how this book is considered one of the best modern classics. And I definitely agree, because the writing was very clear, easy to follow, but the satire of the book was very clever and also very well structured. It's really hard not to admire the cleverness of the author. So, like 1984, I very much enjoyed the reading experience of this book, and I gave Animal Farm by George Orwell a 10 out of 10. Today is the 7th of May and I finished the book that I was reading with Amy at Sobeck. The second book in a series, To Capture His Heart by Nancy Cambell Allen. We previously read the first book together. To be honest, especially Amy didn't love it. I thought it was just fine. In this book, we follow another cousin, Eva, a very talented female photographer living in 1880s, and Nathan, another police detective. Eva often works with local police force, assisting in documenting the crime scenes. She works along with Detective Nathan Winston. They form a quite good friendship, but in reality, they do desire to become more than friends. And one evening, Nathan asks Eva to work as a photographer in his mother's legendary house parties. Also asks her for a favor to pretend that they are courting, because he does not want to marry anyone else. I liked this book much more than the previous book. The romance in this one was very solid in my opinion. I always liked a friends to lovers trope when done well. Also, I really do like fake dating trope, and this was sort of like the best of both tropes, especially in the beginning of the book. As the book progressed, I really liked the interactions between the couple. They had excellent communication skills. The mystery was very decent. To be honest, I could not guess the solution up until the very end. It was a really good mixture of historical romance and cozy mystery. This was a very enjoyable read for me, and I gave To Capture His Heart by Nancy Cambell Allen an 8 out of 10. Today is the 12th of May and I finished the short story that I was reading for middle grade May. This short story belonged to the Wonder series by R.G. Palacio. My favorite middle grade book that I have read so far. The story is titled Pluto, and the story is told from the point of view of Chris, who's the best friend of the protagonist of the main book, Wonder, Ogie. They have been best friends since they were born, although Chris has moved to another town. And we follow a single day of Chris in his new school, and the friendship between these two boys are told through flashbacks as well as the story in the present timeline. I very much enjoyed this short story in the series. Chris was a very likable main protagonist, and also quite relatable. He acted like a normal child. He was very kind at heart, but of course he thought himself to be the center of the world. The story in the present timeline was quite interesting, but the most impressive sections were the flashbacks. If you liked the book Wonder, I think you will also like this short story very much. So I gave Pluto by R.G. Palacio an 8 out of 10. Today is the 13th of May. I finished the book that I was reading for Agatha for Alice, Absent in Spring by Mary Westmacott. Mary Westmacott is a pseudonym used by Agatha Christie when she writes her non-mystery novels. And this was the book that Emily chose for this month. In this book, we follow Joan, who's an early middle-aged English woman, married to an attorney husband with 3 grown children. After visiting her younger daughter, who's married to an employee in Iraq, she comes across an old friend of hers, Blanche, and as they reminisce the past, she tells Blanche that everything in her life is going according to her plan. However, when she becomes stuck in a terminal building because of the delay from the train, she has lots of free time, and she thinks about her life and her past and her relationships with her husband and her 3 children, and tries to analyze if her life is as perfect as she thinks. I have a fondness for Agatha Christie's writing in whatever genre she writes. I really liked the way that she told the story, even though it was actually mainly told from stream of conscious writing method, which is a method that I'm not very fond of. But I still enjoyed listening to this book. I think it was a great insight to how we fool ourselves about our lives, just focusing on small details. We sort of miss the meaning of life, which is having great relationships in one's life. With all of these questions coming to mind, I additionally think that this book would be perfect for a book club. If you do not like mystery books but prefer literary fiction, I think you will like this book very much. Although this book could have been a bit shorter, I still very much enjoyed this general fiction book from Agatha Christie, writing as Mary Westmacott, and I gave Absent in Spring by Mary Westmacott an 8 out of 10. So those were the works that I finished in the first half of May. Please comment down below, have you read any of the books that are mentioned in this video? What did you think of them? If you're a new viewer, first of all, welcome. Please like and subscribe. Hope to see you very soon. Bye. As for Turkish word of the day, since Pluto is not a planet anymore, I'm going to choose planet. Planet means gezegen in Turkish, and gezegen is our Turkish word of the day. Have a good day.